Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner for my Quick Tip Thursday. This is episode number 41. But like always, before I get started, I would like to thank these people for their comments in my last video. And I would also like to thank those people that have gone over to my Etsy store and purchased my Tim Holtz fabric. And don't forget, if you made a December daily, to write in your December daily every single day. Today I wrote that I finished putting up my Christmas tree. Now my quick tip today is this. If by chance you have a really thin piece of paper that you want to put into a journal, and let's say I'm going to put this piece in. I coffee stained it. And it will be sewn into the journal here. But I want to round the corners a little bit. So if I take my corner rounder and slide it into that page and try to cut it, it doesn't cut. It just stays there. Let's just try this one. It just is not strong enough to cut it. See, it just kind of bends it over. So I'm going to tell you one thing that you can do to remedy that. What you're going to do is just take a piece of a second piece of paper. Now, I just grabbed a piece of scrap cardstock. This is 65-pound weight. I slide it behind the parchment paper. Then I slide both of them into the punch, into that corner, and then it punches it out. You need something a little bit more stable to punch it out. Now let's try it with this being over the top as opposed to being behind the paper. So I want to line it up really accurately. Slide my paper in because I want to see if it matters if the cardstock's on the top or the bottom. Actually, I think it went easier if it's on the top. So that's a little tip. So now let's turn it this way. Since we've already rounded these corners, we're going to put it over the top of that parchment paper, line it up, and then just punch. Yes, it definitely, that didn't punch it really good. Either that or maybe it got bent. That may have been what happened. It got bent back and didn't slide in behind it. Let's try this one here. So I'm just going to lay it over the top. And let's see if that happens this time. See, the thing of it is, when you slide it in and your parchment is behind the cardstock, you can't tell whether or not it got bent back or not. But that one, it was okay. So let's clean these off. And you see how nice and rounded those corners are? So I have always done that. And I learned that back in my card making days. If you have a piece of paper that is too thin to punch out, then just back it with something. Now let me show you another little idea. And I'm working on another Christmas journal. I felt like I wanted to do one more. I didn't want to put everything away. And I do want to show you how this page ended up turning out. Remember we put the glossy accents there? Do you see how that really made it dimensional? If you run your hand over it, it actually looks like that is lit up. I love that effect. Now I'm going to show you another product that I used to use in my card making days. So here are a couple of pictures from the kit. And the product I'm going to use is called Snowfall Accents. It's a puff paint. This is a Stampin' Up brand. I did look on Amazon and they do have one available on Amazon. It's $8.81 for a bottle. And so I will link it in the description box, but let me show you what it does. So I'm going to pick an image in which I want to add snow to, a puffy snow. And I'm not so sure about this one because I want to be able to write here. And this is a lot of snow. So maybe this one's just a little bit too much snow. This, the same thing, maybe just a little bit too much snow, although you could do some little ones here. But again, it takes away from my writing spot. But I thought this one, because what I had done is I backed it with this page. I believe this was a freebie. Correct me if I'm wrong. It may have been a freebie with Artie Mays. But I thought I could just do a little bit of snow here. So this is what you do. You take that product. Now you need a heat gun. And I think what I'm going to do is, I apologize, I'm going to grab my Tim Holtz mat and put it on my desk, because since I am going to be using my heat gun, I don't want to ruin my desk by chance. So let me just set that there. I should have done that before. So I'm going to just add it. I'm going to shake it up and I'm going to put it on a couple of spots. And let's just see how that does. Let me bring you in a little bit so you can kind of see how it works. It's a wet product. Whoa! Well, that works really good. Let me take some of that off. That's a little bit too much. I just want a tiny bit. I didn't realize it was going to come out that quick. Okay, that's all I want, is just tiny little droplets like that. Let's see, we'll go over here, a couple over here. I'm going to kind of go not exactly where the snow is on the picture. I'm just going to kind of go everywhere. There is a little bit on the tree. I think we're doing good. Oh, there we go. That's a big one. That's going to be just a big old snowflake. Let's see if I can. There's a big dot in it. Let me grab this. I think that's still maybe a little bit too much. Doesn't quite look like snow when it's big like that. We're going to come down here a little bit. Just going to kind of go every which way. And I could come back and add more as I need. Just a couple of little bit here and there. Okay, let's see how this works. So I will turn the sound off while I do this. So here in the beginning, I'm letting my heat tool heat up to a good temperature. And I apologize that because the dots of the puffy paint are so small, it may be difficult for you to be able to see the full effect. However, later on in the video, I will be using more of it and you'll be able to see better how beautiful it puffs up. So hang in there with me while I do this. And from this point on, I'm going to speed up the video a little bit. Now I'm going to hold it up a little bit so that you guys can see the dimension there. It puffed it up, but I think I'm going to add a little bit more, and I can press it down because it's going to be written on. That page is going to be written on, but let's do a little bit more. Let's add a snow line here. So let's just bring it all the way around up through there. And I will turn down the sound when I heat this up. But again, let me just bring you in a little bit to that one spot so you guys can see how fun this stuff is. Okay, did you guys see how that puffed up like that? I don't want to stop. Let me look here and make sure I'm still recording because remember my phone is being all goofy. I think I need a little bit over here now. You know, once you start, you can't stop. It's so much fun to work with this stuff. I don't know what it's made out of. Alrighty, let's do it again here. And then, you know, you can still, if I put my hands down there, it's still fairly flat. It's not that dimensional to where you still couldn't write here, but because this is a page in which I'm going to fold it in, and that will be the center of a page. And then I will put a pocket here and a pocket here or something. It doesn't matter, but is that not the coolest stuff? It's so fun for holiday cards or even journals. Like I said, I might put a few more here on my tree, but I'll be right back with you guys then. So I ended up running a small line of it down here too. It's so much fun to use that you don't know when to stop. But let me just show you so you can still fold your page. There's my page folded, and then that will be sewn into the center of a signature. And so I just love the effect. It's just something different. I have another idea for using this puffy paint, and I've done it before back when I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So this is one of my favorite stamps. It has this image of this woman here, and I thought I would add her to a page in the journal. And this was part of one of the images from Tracy's kit. I love this page here, and I thought it would go there. Now, this is my idea. Now, I'm not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator any longer. I never made any money, but I still use some of their tools. And this was one thing. It was a platform so that your image would not move if you had to stamp it a couple of times. This is a magnet here. So let me pull out the stamp. You lay it wherever you want to stamp it, and then it picks up on this plate here. Sorry for my hand in there. And let me just bring that over so you can see. And then you just stamp your image. And if by chance you miss one spot of it, you can re-ink the stamp and it will not have moved. Your cardstock wouldn't have moved, and neither will the stamp itself. This was, again, when you make cards, everything is like done to perfection. Card makers they want everything just perfect. Maybe that was why I was, I did love making cards, but I just got too many cards in my my house, and I wasn't selling them. I didn't sell them, and yeah, see, that's much better, but I'm going to have it a little bit darker just so, and I guess I could have done red, black, because now when I think about it, that ink for the color is going to cover it up. So let me grab some archival black. We'll just stamp it again. This is just your Ranger archival black. We're just going to do it one more time so it's really dark. And then that way I can see, you can see the image of her dress through the ink. That ink pad feels a little bit on the dry side. And you see, I stamped that 3 different times and that never moved. So, that's, if you're into card making, you need to buy yourself one of these. It's called a platform. So anyway, so I've stamped that. Let's put this back away. And I'm going to let that dry just ever so slightly. So the next thing I'm going to do is add the snow effect to the bottom of her dress. Now, this is the one that I was working on, but I had colored it first, and then I added the fluff to the bottom, or kind of a fur, and it turned it pink. So on this one, I'm going to add the fluff first, and then I will color it afterwards. So I'm just putting some dots along the edge of what would be the bottom of the dress. And if I need to, I can come in and add a few more. But I think that's going to be enough there. It's going to be pretty fluffy. I want to bring some over this way. Okay, I think that's good. So let's get that dried. Now, I do know that you need to sometimes bring it up toward the top and dry it slowly. So what I'm doing here, because I don't want the fur kind of snow effect, whatever, I'm going to call it fur on her dress. I don't want it to move. So I actually have my heat gun over the top of it, straight down on it. I know it looks like an angle, on screen, but I'm trying to keep it above it, but still let you guys see what is happening. And ever so slowly, as it starts to dry so that it doesn't move, I bring the heat gun closer and closer and closer. And then as I see it start to bubble up, I know it's drying enough and it won't move. So isn't that absolutely beautiful the way it's turning out? You can do so much with this stuff. I just absolutely love it. Now, I don't know if you could see what I was doing, but I started up high, started heating the liquid, and then got closer. Let me see if I can go in here. This little bit kind of, yeah, that worked out to pull that off a little bit. And then I got closer and closer. So I'm happy with that. I'm debating to add a little bit on the top of her hat. I had done it here. I think I'm going to say no. I'm going to forego that. But now what I'm going to do is go in with my marker. These are Stampin' Up! Markers. I've had, gosh, these for years and years. This is called Real Red. And I'm not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator any longer, but I cannot believe how juicy they still are. So I'm just going to come along the edge there and get real close and color this in and keep that fluff, or what it would be like kind of a fur red. And then as I color in the rest of the dress, I will put it on fast forward. Now, as I color this in, you guys could take any picture out of a magazine or a book of a lady and do exactly the same thing. You don't necessarily need to have this Stampin' Up! Stamp. I just happen to have it, and it's always been one of my favorites. And I think that looks pretty good. As you can see, I did go in and add a little bit of red down at the bottom for her shoe. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I have Copic markers. This one is called Eggshell, and it's the one that I have used for skin tones. Even though I did copy this or stamp this on very vanilla cardstock, kind of a beige-ish cardstock, I do want her feature of her leg and her arms to be a little bit different color. And then I just got to come in here and just ever so slightly touch that. I don't want to get any of that white messed up. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I love these markers. Okay, I think that's perfect. Now, let's fussy cut her out and see how we can put her on the page. So as I do this, let me tell you about my sweet little Miss Fiona. She is just over a year old, and on Thanksgiving Day, she went into heat. I have really wanted her to have one litter of puppies, but I need another Wheaten Terrier to breed her with, so I haven't gotten her fixed. But she is so cute because she will not leave my side. I wonder if maybe they don't feel very good when they're in heat, but she is so close to me during this time. I'm going to initially just do a rough fussy cut, and then I may come in and go in a little bit closer. It depends on what it looks like on the page. Now, one of my subbies here, Annette Goldberg, has a Wheaten Terrier also. Annette, we need to be neighbors so our babies can have puppies together. I can't remember if yours is a male or a female, but wouldn't that be fun if we could breed them? That's getting in my way, so I'm going to just chop that off. And like I said, just go through your magazines and just take a look and see what images you could possibly use and add that either snow effect, we're going to call it, or the fur, because it kind of looks like both. Okay, let's go in here like this now. And it's not like I want to become a dog breeder. No, I don't have time for that. But I just wanted her to have one litter and to be a mommy one time. I wasn't interested in, making any money, but I do want a breeder with the same breed because they are a wonderful breed. But there's so many obstacles if you want like a purebred, soft-coated Wheaten Terrier to breed them with. So I don't think my little sweetheart's going to be able to to have a litter. I think she's going to be motherless, so it kind of makes me a little bit sad. All right, I think that's going to work out just fine. Okay, now let's bring in our image that I'm thinking about putting it on. And then the other thing, I can't remember if I showed you this, again, back from my card making days, I have these lamp posts, and I have one that was already cut out, and I kind of like having her touch the lamppost with her feet. Now, this was the one page I thought about putting it on. This is different from the other one that I did with the snow. This has no snow on it. It's just got this on the background that I printed off. The only thing is, I don't know whether to have it here, but then it cuts off the bird. Do I fold it in half? And then what do I do with this? So this is my solution for adding this to the inside here, because I want you to be able to journal here and journal here. So what I'm doing is I'm just placing it in between the actual journal page itself. I'm going to lay it in the cradle here. And I'm just going to poke 2 holes just so that I can sew it together. Let me grab my awl. I forgot to do that. And all I'm going to do is add, because I've got to have my holes in between these 2 pages. So I think one there and one there. That should be good enough. 2 holes. Yep, that's perfect. And then all I'm going to do is take some, this is just basic thread. It's not even waxed thread, because this is still going to need to be sewn into a signature. I just want these 2 pages to stay together. And so all I'm doing is pulling those together like that. And then I'm going to tie them in a knot. And that is it. And hopefully it will be tight enough. I know you can't see. It will be tight enough to where the page stays up close. I think I've pulled it tight enough to where, yeah, I think I need to just do it like that. And I think if I pull tight enough on both sides, it will stay together. So, but I don't want to rip my paper, and I want to make sure it's tight. How can I do this? So I ended up figuring it out. What I did is just added a dollop of art glitter glue there, let it dry for a minute, then tied it in a double knot. Now, again, this still will be sewn into a signature of a journal. So this will be a page, then you will open it up. You can journal here. That's the center part of it. You'll be able to journal there. We've got something beautiful there, and then this will be the back page. So I think what I'm going to do now is add our girl and our lamppost here. Now, the thing I have to be careful about is the fold. So that's why I already wanted this here, and I just used, like I said, like a ecru color. I think it was just this to tie it so that it, when I pick this up, if I move it or what have you, that middle part doesn't move. So I need to make sure my girl, her foot doesn't go over this line. And I want her down low so that it looks like she's on the ground. So I'm just going to use a little bit of my Beacons 3-in-1 glue and glue her to the page. I didn't ink around her or anything like that. I thought I'm just going to keep her just like she is. And then bring her here toward the bottom, but again, close enough to this edge where it won't impede when the page is opened up or turned. But she's still there. She's dancing in front of the Christmas tree. And then let me take this lamppost and I will put it closer to the edge. And I think what I did, I can see that when I had die cut it, I had done it a couple of times. I probably should maybe not even use this one. I should probably use one that is not doubled over, but I'm already adding the glue here, so it is what it is. Yeah, there we go. You can see a little glue that's spread there. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is again have it down toward the end of the page and close enough, but not so close that the page won't be able to turn. All right, so those are my two ideas for using this puffy paint. Let me grab my other one. What else did I do? Oh, I did this. I did this page with the snow on the bottom and then my girl here. So I hope you enjoyed this. Go over to Amazon and buy yourself some of this. You won't regret it. There's a lot more uses other than just what you would use at Christmas time. And I will see you guys again soon for Slow Stitch Saturday. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.